Hi everyone, my name's Jess and I'm one of the psychologists at Prosper Health Collective. And today I wanted to talk to you about an important topic, and that is how ADHD can influence relationships, but more importantly, how partners or family members can navigate these dynamics with mutual understanding and support. So to start with, it's really important to note that ADHD is not a deficit in motivation or care. It's actually a neurodevelopmental difference that affects things like attention regulation, working memory, emotion regulation, and impulse control. So ADHD results in different ways of processing and experiencing the world, and that absolutely includes relationships. So when one or more partners or family members are ADHDers, certain patterns can show up that may require a little more attention or a little more focus in relationships. So I wanted to go over a few strategies that can hopefully support connection, compassion, and understanding in your important relationships. ADHDers often experience challenges related to things like time perception, task initiation, getting started on things, wrapping up and finishing tasks once they've been begun. And these things are really not at all due to a lack of effort, but rather differences in executive functioning. And in relationships, this can sometimes be, misinterpreted as a lack of care, disinterest, and sometimes just plain laziness, which we know is definitely not true. So one way to, navigate this hopefully quite simply is really to give as much kind of scaffolding and support through things like external reminders. I usually recommend to people to sort of experiment and find which one of these strategies is actually the best fit for you or your relationship or your family. And I guess some simple things to try might be shared digital calendars, having visual reminders, so often in places of the home that might be really well trafficked, so you get the most value out of being able to see those things as a useful prompt. And even things like, timed reminders on your phone to, kind of take away some of the mental load of actually remembering specific things at specific times. So these tools can be really helpful in, having a really stable routine, increasing predictability, and supporting accountability and follow through in a way that will hopefully reduce frustration for everyone. Another, important thing to discuss is effective communication, which we know is a cornerstone of any healthy relationship. But when ADHD is present, certain adaptations in particular can be really beneficial. So ADHDers often will process emotions quite intensely, but will possibly struggle to express them in the way that they like to kind of in the moment. Others might have difficulty with things like, recalling important parts of previous conversations, maintaining focus through discussions, and that, all of these things are actually exacerbated when, stress is thrown in the mix as well. So to increase the effectiveness of communication, I would consider implementing things such as, really scheduling important conversations in low pressure settings and hopefully as far away from stress as possible. And things like writing down, or planning important points of discussions before they're had can really help with organising thoughts and expressing them in the way that you'd really like them to be received. And even things like, using verbal cues to help signal to someone, the focus or the topic of our conversation is now shifting. So approaching communication with, curiosity as opposed to criticism or judgment is important in letting really everyone know that they are kind of heard, respected, validated and appreciated. It sets up a more supportive dialogue as well. I think quite a simple but very important and impactful shift in navigating ADHD in relationships is also moving from a very deficit-based perspective to recognizing and embracing strengths. ADHD brings lots of strengths and positive qualities to relationships too. So things like creativity, spontaneity, deep empathy, these are really important positive qualities. So rather than focusing primarily on just, fixing challenges, I often recommend trying to reframe them. So, for example, if impulsivity might lead to interruptions in conversation when someone has a really important point that they want to express to you, sort of then and there, um, yes, at times we might view that as a frustration, but also we can view it as enthusiasm. And I think those small changes in perspective can hopefully make a big difference to your relationships. So at the end of the day, relationships really thrive on mutual understanding. ADHD might shape how someone potentially navigates love and connection in their relationships, but it really doesn't define their capacity for a healthy and fulfilling connection. So if this resonated with you and you wanted to continue the conversation, please feel free to comment on the video. And also, I'd really like to thank you for your time in watching this today. And I hope some of these tips might be helpful to both you and your important